Hey guys, Lena here. I'm just going to go over a quick tutorial today on creating pinnable images in PicMonkey. PicMonkey is my favorite way to create images just because for me and my computer it's really fast. I use Canva and I'm getting used to it, but Canva is really slow for me and I'm pretty impatient. So I do like Canva because now that I create images on a big scale, I do need a way to save my images and not have to recreate the wheel every single time, but for something quick and for something that I may not repeat over and over again, I really love PicMonkey just because it's so easy to drag and drop and you don't have to wait on Canva to process through all its major capabilities. So here's a quick tutorial. I'm going to try to do one a pretty common way. Sometimes you know when you look at a pinnable image, you try to make a really tall image, something that's taller than it is wide. But sometimes you start with a wide image and you need to crop it down, and I do that a lot because sometimes the image I want is horizontal, but I just need to make it vertical. So I'm going to kind of show you how I do that, and we're going to do an overlay and make one really fast. So I've already saved the image. I get a lot of my images from paid stock websites, but when you're just starting out, I would recommend getting images from Pixabay. That's PIXABAY.com. That's one of the best ones. All of them are royalty free. You don't have to attribute the photographer unless you want to, which really saves you some time in just adding the text to the image. So I got an image that I liked that related to my post, and I downloaded it on my computer, and now I'm going to edit it in PicMonkey. So you go to Edit, then you choose the image that it is, and I have a lot of images, so I think I named it College. Let's see. Here it is, Book Study College. Okay, so you open up your image at full size, and then you want to crop it because you don't want a horizontal image on Pinterest as your main image. It's fine to use secondary images in your post, and I do all the time that are horizontal, but I would not make a horizontal image your main one. So I kind of play around with it, and I want to make it at least 50% taller than it is wide, so I like those dimensions right there. And then I just kind of play around with it to see which one I like. So it's going to be about college, so I want to grab part of the image that I think says college in it, and I think it's these pictures. So I'm going to crop it to this, maybe even make it more narrow because it looks kind of, the dimensions don't look tall enough. So I'm going to crop it there to 987 by 1440, and one thing you should know about creating Pinterest images is that you want to create them big enough so they look nice on Pinterest, but you don't want to create them too big that your blog template you have to shrink it down to fit your blog. So I know that my blog is about 750 pixels wide, so I never make my images any wider than that because I like to upload them the way they are without having to resize them. So I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. So the first important thing is that you crop it to the right dimensions. So I'm cropping it here, and you can see that it's 987 by 1440 pixels. I'm going to hit apply, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here, and this section is this little one here with the little lines and the dots on it. It's the basic edits. I want to go over to resize, and then I'm literally going to type in 750, and it's going to automatically adjust the height based on the width that I put. So it's taking that same image and basically compressing it down a little. And the cool thing about using Pixabay is that the images, you can download them at a really high resolution, so when you size them down, they don't look blurry or anything. So this is really handy. So I'm going to resize it to 750, keep proportions because I already chose my proportions in it, and then click apply. Then I usually make it bigger in my view just because I can see it better. Then a really easy way to make a Pinterest image look good is to do an overlay, because you want to give some contrast between the background and the picture and the text on top of it. In this one, you could probably use just some light colored text on the dark that you see down at the bottom, but since the dark is not, it doesn't come up really high, I'm going to use an overlay just so I can bring the text up some. So I'm going to click on this butterfly, and that's a symbol for the overlays. Then I'm going to click on geometric, rectangle, And then you just quickly drag it over to the width of the picture. And then you drag it down just to a decent amount. And you don't have to be too particular because you're going to make it kind of opaque. So you're going to come over here to the color that it is and see how you can just change that really fast. Well, I'm going to change that to white just because white's really easy. It's kind of my default color. Then I'm going to choose fade of, let's go with 62%. You don't want to make it too light because then there's no point in putting an overlay. And you don't want to make it too unfaded because then it looks like you just have half a picture. So I usually pick something around 50-60%, just something that will kind of give you a background to write your text on. And you can drag it around. You can do it down here. You could do it up here. I mean, you could do it all in the middle if you want. I really play around with that, and sometimes I think it looks really cool to make the whole picture overlaid, so it's kind of like a faded out background that you make a little bit opaque like this, and then you just write on it. And that is really handy when, especially when you have something, I call it a strong proposition. So when you're really just trying to go for this one thing that you're teaching somebody, sometimes the text can kind of stand alone on itself. You don't really need a whole bunch of stuff going on in the background. So this is actually one of my favorite formats. Why don't we do this? I do the overlay and kind of make it look cool so you can see the stuff in the background, and I leave a little bit around the edges so it doesn't look completely washed out. And you know, just kind of use your eyes and judge where you want to put it. Click out of it, and then what you can do is you can click on this combine image elements, that little stackable paper and down arrow thing. And when you click on that, it stamps those together so you can't then go and move around this background. So then I come in here and just add some text. And I already have my favorite fonts that I use. And I'll show you some of them. Okay. I think our post is called Going Away to College Gift Ideas. So one thing I like to do is use a big number just because it looks kind of cool, and my default is usually the sketch block. Let's see. There you go. And I just add the text really quickly because you can go and center it later. So let's call it 4. Let's resize down here, and then you just drag the corners to make it big. So I have 4, and that's going to be really big. So let's do a little bit smaller. 4, and then just choose a second font that you like. And I like this one right here. And I'm going to do that for the bottom part so you can really see it.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to people on my computer. I'm making them a tutorial. You want to see?
Uh-huh. Can they hear us right now?
They can hear you, yeah.
Ah!
Is that scary?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. So I kind of look at it. I use that font a lot, but I don't really like it for this because I like my fonts to that's funny. To be really easy to read and really obvious. So I'm going to play around with that a little bit. I don't want it to be confusing at all. I don't want somebody to look at my image and say, oh, I wonder what it's about. Let me look really closely. Because if you make them do that, then they've already gone on to the next image, and you don't want to do that to them. So let's play around with this. Oh, I think there is a college font. Where is that? Well, that one's kind of cool too. Okay, so let's leave that there for a second. I'm going to add some more text, and that's the cool thing about PicMonkey. You can kind of add the different sections of text, and you can drag and drop them around, and that's the only thing I don't like about Canva, other than it's slow, is that it's really hard to add new text, I think, and drag it around really fast. It just takes a little bit longer, and like I said, I'm impatient. So, college student, spell that right. Oh, it was gift basket ideas. That's what it was. College student gift basket ideas. Let's make that smaller because I like to have it on the this area. I think it should be gift basket ideas for college students. Yes, baby.
Isn't it time?
Just a minute. Are you all done watching your movie?
We already did 2. Now we're doing 3.
You mean that second show?
3rd.
Well, that must be a short show because it's only been 20 minutes. Okay, I'll be up in a minute, okay? All right. The kids are upstairs getting ready for bed, and we just got a TV in our bedroom, and so they think it's like the best thing in the whole world if I let them watch a show 20 or 30 minutes before they go to bed, and it's actually been the best thing for me because now I can do something like this while they're getting ready for bed. Don't tell anybody, I just told you that. All right. So, as you can see, I just play around. I think this is kind of fun. You might think this is the most horrible thing in the world. I actually used to really, really, really hate making images because I didn't know what I was doing, and it was just so confusing. So now, though, I think it's kind of fun. I play around with it, and then this is what I do when I watch movies or something because it's just so easy, and you don't really have to think about it. I just have to make sure that the image looks pretty. So, I'm going to put that in here, and you know what? I'm going to go make sure that is the name. Okay, I'm back now. Went and looked up the post name, and I was a little bit wrong. It's Going Away to College Gift Basket Ideas. And I just realized that I need to make it a little bit more enticing. I was just taking a Pinterest training, and they were talking about how you need to make it like something that people really, really want to know. So instead of just calling it something plain and simple like going away college ideas, I'm going to be like, this is the going away college ideas that everyone loves. So I want to see how I can make this fit here. I did change some of the font before I hit record, so sorry you didn't get to see that. But you get the gist. I've been just playing around with the fonts here. So I'm going to call this Going Away to College Gift Basket Ideas. 4 ideas they will love. Okay, oh, didn't mean to do that. Let's see. Add more text, copy and paste that, and that's the cool thing about PicMonkey. You can just copy and paste, and it works really well. 4 ideas they will love. I'm going to put that here. I'm still not super duper happy with this, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to make it really cool. So what I did here is you can see that I put this section up here that I kind of took out because sometimes when you change the font in the middle of a phrase or a sentence, it'll make the margins go wonky. So when I made Going Away to College Gift Basket Ideas, it had put the going away section way at the top. So I just cut that out of the original text area and then made another text box and kind of made it come down just because I like things to look a little bit more symmetrical. So I'm going to put that here. Let's see, I might even bring this down a little bit. And then change these. Yeah, that looks really good. Just change the font size there. So, Going Away to College Gift Basket Ideas. 4 ideas they will love. And I think that's pretty good. So one thing that you can make it stand out is make this a different color. And what I like to do is use a pink or a red, just because pink and red stands out really well. It's a pretty common color for me, so I'm going to use that, and then I'm going to copy and paste the hex code and come down here and use that in the 4 also because I like to highlight the numbers. So 4 ideas they will love. Or Going Away to College. I don't know why I'm just not completely happy with this. So let's take this up here. There you go. That's actually a lot better, I think.